Hello, and welcome to 𝐋𝐞𝐭'𝐬 Bundesliga match day 27 after the international break. A good one for Germany. We are back with Ronan Murphy for Germany and for Ronan, who nailed his latest ACCA, by the way, in the Nations League. Hello, Ronan.
Hello, yeah, it was a great week for Germany in the Nations League, and it was a good weekend for me and the Republic of Ireland national football team. It's the first time since 2011 that Ireland have beaten two teams from FIFA's top 100 in a row, two games in a row. You have to go back 14 years since we got these sort of incredible results. So everyone in Ireland is just buzzing, and that's why I'm in my green today.
Well, after St Patrick's, no, everything, all the good news are coming together to Ireland and also to Oddspedia, because we were very successful. Actually, also Leo nailed his first ACCA, at least in the 𝐿𝐵𝐵 qualifiers. We have another video for the games we have tonight, and in the Nations League, Alain and Ronan were very successful. So another challenge for you, Ronan. Let's see what happens in the Bundesliga this weekend. So guys, here you are going to find all the analysis and all the tips. Press the like, subscribe. Let's go on now with the show. And for a Friday evening is not bad. The game we have in the Bayer Arena, Bayer Leverkusen, Bochum, because somehow Leverkusen are still in the fight for the Bundesliga, 6 points away. If you are very optimistic with Bayern Munich having a tough tie with Inter Milan, is still possible. It looks unlikely when they were losing 3-1 to Stuttgart, but they came back 3-4. What a game. And they are back on track. They are also alive in the cup. I guess it's the target number 1, playing Bielefeld. And Bochum 1 point away from Heidenheim, losing to Frankfurt after that crazy game in Munich, Ronan.
Yeah, I think we saw maybe the Leverkusen of old is back. The late comeback, late goals, and now 6 points away. And if they win this match on Friday evening, they'll be 3 points. So put the pressure on Bayern Munich. So maybe we do have some glimpse of a title race now. I'm not going to say we definitely have a title race, but maybe there's a glimpse of one. And Bayern Munich could slip up, maybe not this weekend, but in the coming weeks, if Bayern Munich could slip up, then it could blow things wide open, because there's still, 8 games left. So there's a chance that there could be a title race, but we didn't think that a few weeks ago. And obviously, Bayer Leverkusen have to win these matches, and the matches that they think should be easy matches are sometimes the matches that can frustrate teams, because Bochum have had some good results already in 2025, but this kind of turning back around their form, their kind of what we used to seeing from Bochum is kind of evident, becomes more and more evident the more matches they play. So they're 16th, like you said, they're only 1 point above automatic relegation, and they're 5 points behind avoiding the relegation playoff. So they need to pick up points, but I'm not confident this is going to be the place to do it, although Leverkusen do have some international doubts, or some doubts after the international break. 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐵𝐻 he's a doubt because it's taken him so long to get back from Chile. He's flying to Paris, then he's flying to Dusseldorf, and he's only going to arrive in on Thursday. So it'd be interesting to see how much training he can get in, how tired he will be, etc., jet lag and all them sort of things. Nathan Tella and Edmund Tapsoba are confirmed that they will both be out in this. They hope to get them back for that cup game that you mentioned. So yeah, Bochum are a team that can cause problems to teams, but maybe not this Leverkusen team that we've seen that bounced back so well last week after their disappointing week, getting knocked out of the Champions League and losing to Werder Bremen in the league. So I think this is a match that Leverkusen should win comfortably. The most common result here is 2-0. Correct score 2-0 could be an option, 7.25, because Bochum don't tend to score too many goals. Leverkusen to win to 0 could be a bit safer than that at 2.20. Maybe they could score a third goal and then you'd be kicking yourself. But I do like Leverkusen winning this one and winning this one big. So Leverkusen Asian handicap minus 1.75 is just at 2. We're just under a touch and 2 at the moment.
Let's go to the games we have on Saturday. First one is Gladbach Leipzig. This is a very good one. Leipzig 5th right now, 3 points away from the Champions League spots after beating Dortmund with Xavi Simons and Openda scoring. Xavi Simons also scored with the Netherlands, also alive in the cup. They are playing Stuttgart next week, and Gladbach 7th beat Werder Bremen 4-2 away with 𝗛𝗲 scoring a hat-trick. So they are close to Europe.
Yeah, that was a second hat-trick for St Pauli against Bremen. The second time he's done that against Bremen, and he's only the second player in Bundesliga history to have 2 away hat-tricks against the same team. The only other one was Karl-Heinz Rummenigge for Bayern Munich against Borussia Mönchengladbach of all time. So the big doubt for Gladbach going into this game is who will be in goal, because Jonas Omlin, was back in goal. Now he's injured again. Maurice Nicholas is out for the rest of the season, so they're going to have to turn to their teenage goalkeeping talent again, Thiago Pereira Cardoso. He's only played 108 minutes of senior football so far, so it's a big test for a young guy to kind of have to step up and be their number one for such a big match against Leipzig, and a Leipzig match where like you said, Xavi Simons is in form going into this match, and we hadn't seen the best of him since he signed permanently for Leipzig, since he broke the transfer record for them in January. So hopefully the best of Xavi Simons is back, because he needs it to be. Leipzig need it to be, because if they're to sell him for 80 million plus in the summer, they will need kind of to put him in the shop window by having him put in some great performances. Tim Kleindienst, Gladbach striker, he's third in the Bundesliga goal scoring standings. He scored for Germany during the international break. He's suspended for this one, so he will be a big absence for them. That's 5 yellow cards for him. And Gladbach are on a pretty bad run at the moment. They haven't won any of their last 3 Bundesliga games. They've lost to Augsburg and Mainz in the last 2 games. They've conceded 3 goals in both of those. And Leipzig, on the other hand, back clean sheets, 2-0 win over Dortmund, like you said, in the last game. So although I haven't been confident of Leipzig in recent weeks, I'm going to go back to the well, and I'm going to say Leipzig can win this one. It's 240 on the screen, so I think Leipzig can win this one.
Red card in the game for Jake. Next one, Bayern Munich, St Pauli. Bayern Munich with the Bundesliga almost in the pocket, but as you said, there are some hopes for Leverkusen. The eyes are on Inter Milan in a couple of weeks, but since they drew with Union Berlin and lost to Bochum, the door is still open to Leverkusen. St Pauli, they beat Hoffenheim 1-0, so it's 6 points gap with Heidenheim. Should be enough until the end of the season. So, but I guess they should be safe.
Well, yeah, I would hope so, but obviously anything can happen and any team can be dragged in. But luckily for St Pauli at the moment, the teams below them seem a lot worse than them at the moment, and that's why they are where they are. So they will not fancy facing Bayern Munich, traveling to Bayern Munich. It's always a difficult game, especially with Bayern Munich's own players on great form in the international break. Obviously, they had 𝐿𝐵𝐼𝐻 getting plenty of assists. 𝗀𝗏𝗏 were impressed in midfield for Germany. Harry Kane scored in both of England's games. Michael Olise, he was fantastic for France, even though Deschamps was admitting that Olise's French wasn't that good, so it was difficult to converse with him, which is strange at international level, that you can't talk to your own international players as a person of that nationality. But yeah, that's an interesting one. And Michael Olise, he has been creating lots of chances for Bayern Munich this season. There was a stat that came out during the week that the most chances created in the big 5 leagues, Olise is second. He's ahead of Kevin De Bruyne, but surprisingly, per 90, the most chances per 90 minutes this season is 𝐿𝐵𝐼𝐻 of Bayern Munich, creating the most chances. So Bayern Munich are creating so many chances that they should score lots of goals in this one. And one player that I said that shone during that international break was 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐻 for Germany. He got 2 assists and a goal, including a hilarious assist against Italy. So we got that right in the Nations League one. We said 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐻 over 0.5 assists, and that came in at 550. The odds are a little smaller here in the Bundesliga, but it's still a good way to go, because he's had 4 assists during the international break. So if he can keep that up, 375 for 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐻 to get over a half assist looks like a good option for me in this.
Bayern Munich, they should win. Joshua Kimmich had a great international break against Italy, shining. What a player. Also, I love the kit shown by Germany, classic. This is the way you start winning the World Cup, with this kind of kits. Penchev is going for Bayern to score in both halves. Bayern to score over 2.5 goals for Jake. Actually, Penchev just told us that he's watching us from Munich. Next game, Hoffenheim, Augsburg. Terrible season for Hoffenheim, as we are always saying, but almost safe. Lost to St Pauli, but before they had a good streak of 4 undefeated games, and we have great odds to back somehow Augsburg because they are in great form. Beat Wolfsburg and Dortmund 2-0, 1-0 in the last 2 games, and no defeats in the last 10 Bundesliga games. So I'm surprised to see these high odds for the visitor, Ronan.
Yeah, and especially this is a team that aren't conceding any goals whatsoever. Finn Dahmen has gone 10 hours without conceding a goal in the Bundesliga. He became the 9th goalkeeper in Bundesliga to history to do that in the last match day. The 8th was Freiburg's Noah 𝗵𝗵𝗏𝗏 in the same weekend, but then 𝗵𝗵𝗏𝗏 went and conceded 2 goals. So yeah, Dahmen still, he hasn't conceded since the 1st of February. He's clean sheets in his last 6 games. And now he's been linked with a move to the Premier League, so that's not really a surprise when you're not conceding goals whatsoever. So the last meeting as well was a 0-0 draw, so it doesn't bode too well for any goals in this match. Hoffenheim didn't score in their last game either. They've only 3 goals in their last 4 games. Yeah, like you say, Augsburg 3-10. It's very appealing, all right. I do like to look at that one. Augsburg double chance, slightly lower odds, obviously, 162 if you want to go a bit safer. If you think that the Augsburg can get something from this match, and they definitely can, because Hoffenheim haven't been good at all, and Augsburg aren't conceding goals or opportunities. Finn Dahmen, he's getting a lot of clean sheets, but he's not super busy keeping those clean sheets, thankfully for him. Both teams to score, yes, has only happened in 43% of Augsburg's games. So I'm going to go for both teams to score, no, 206.
Always low scoring games when we have Augsburg in the mix. Next game is Kiel, Werder Bremen. Kiel bottom, but still with some hopes. 2 points away from Heidenheim, but actually lost to them recently. Bremen in really bad form, apart from this surprise against Leverkusen. It's very difficult to trust them, even if they are playing against the bottom of the table, Ronan.
Yeah, the only thing is it's very difficult to trust Kiel, regardless of who they're playing, especially at home. They're 18th in the table with just 17 points, and they haven't won in a home match since January. So that's kind of the form that gets any team relegated, and it's not surprising that they're now so far away from safety or from even the playoff. And they lost 3-1 to Heidenheim in that last match day, and that was a match that kind of needed to win to have any chance of staying up with it. So they're now 8 points behind any sort of safety in the Bundesliga next season. So it doesn't really look like they're going to stay up. I think Kiel are going to be playing in the second division football again next season. When Bremen, like you said, they can pull off these shock results like that one against Leverkusen, but they are scoring in games, and they're kind of keeping themselves in matches. They've scored in each of their last 4 games in all competitions. They're not winning enough matches at the moment. Kiel just aren't winning matches home or away. They've got relegation form in the main table, relegation form in the home table, 17th in the home table. Whereas Bremen, they have been good at times on the road. They're 7th in the away table. They've actually got more wins than losses in away matches this season, so I think they can get a 7th away win in this one. So that's why Bremen win seems like the safest one here.
Ronan, which team do you support? Someone is asking you.
I said it at the introduction of the show, the Republic of Ireland. I used to support some League of Ireland teams, but the local League of Ireland team to where I grew up went bankrupt when I was a teenager. So I moved to the next nearest local League of Ireland team. The first team was Kilkenny City, who went bankrupt. The next team I moved to Kildare County. They were the next nearest team. They went bankrupt the following year. So I don't support a club team because you don't want me to support your club team because they'll go bankrupt. Yeah, so just Ireland, who are bankrupt in wins in most matches.
You can support Barcelona, then Ronan, feel free. You can trust Kiel with goals in their game. So Genep is going for both teams to score. Next one, Wolfsburg, Heidenheim. Wolfsburg around the European spots, 4 points away, despite that defeat against Augsburg. And Heidenheim got a key win against Kiel, but still in the relegation spots.
Yeah, this is a match that you would think Wolfsburg will win. 169 looks pretty good for them. The only thing is they have a big absence up front. Mohamed Amoura is suspended after his fifth yellow card of the season. He's their top scorer with 10 goals. So it'll be interesting to see what they do in attack in his absence. And obviously they could turn to Jonas Wind, who, like we said in earlier episodes, he was kind of frustrated that he wasn't starting too many games, but when he was playing, he was scoring, and he's 8 goals this season, so he's not too far off Amoura. So he's likely to start up front, and if he does, I think Wolfsburg have a good chance, because Heidenheim, like we've talked about with Kiel, like we've talked about with Bochum, they're not very good. They're not very good against Wolfsburg either. In the recent meetings between the two sides, Wolfsburg have had won twice and drew the other in the last 2 seasons. They won 3-1 away in Heidenheim earlier this season. Before the last match day, where they lost to Augsburg, who nobody scores against, like we said, they went 7 games without losing. So I think they can turn things back around and get back to winning ways in this one. So I do like a Wolfsburg win, but I also like Jonas Wind to score any time if he is the player that starts in attack for them, and he is likely. 310 looks pretty good for that this far out from the weekend, because some bookies are still kind of listing Mohamed Amoura as a possible goal scorer in this match when he won't actually be playing. So if you can get on that one early, there might be a chance there. So Jonas Wind anytime goal scorer, but I do like a Wolfsburg win at 169.
Okay, also for Penchef, actually is going for home win in this case, or Jake, the Wolfsburg Dronobet, and under 3.5 goals, although Dronobet for Wolfsburg should be very low, since the odds for Wolfsburg to win, as you can see, is 1.6. Very interesting game. Next one. That's why it's the late kickoff. Eintracht Frankfurt, Stuttgart. Stuttgart suffering 10th in the standings. They won't play in Europe next season after playing in the Champions League. In this one, it's only 2 points in the last 5 games. So despite being out of the Champions League, they have not improved. We are seeing the opposite, for instance, with Bologna. In Italy, for Frankfurt, 4th, fighting to get into the Champions League spots, but also distracted somehow with the Europa League. They beat Bochum, it's true, but they were coming from 3 consecutive defeats. They are playing Tottenham, but now without the Europa League, it's time to get some points in the Bundesliga, Ronan.
Yeah, I think the big problems for both of these teams this season is the kind of changes in squad. And Stuttgart, we saw that at the start of the season, they had such a big changeover in squad. They had a lot of their key players left, or were sold because they had such a good season last season. They had to bring in new players. They had that kind of, they needed a lot of depth to play in the Champions League, and they were struggling in the league as a result. And I don't think that the squad is as good as last season's squad, and that's why we're seeing these problems with Stuttgart at the moment. And similarly with Frankfurt, their top goal scorer was sold in January, so they don't have his goals anymore. So 15 goals are kind of gone from the amount of goals they've scored. They have got 54 goals after 26 games, which is a lot for Frankfurt, the most that Eintracht Frankfurt have scored since 1981-82. But Marmouche has provided nearly a third of those. 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐴, he is next on 13. He's picked up some of the slack since Marmouche has left, and 𝐿𝐴𝐧𝐼 is the 3rd highest goal scorer with 4 goals. So if 𝗵𝐿𝐴𝐧𝐼 isn't playing, they don't really have goals coming from anywhere else, because Marmouche is obviously playing for Manchester City now, and 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐵𝐼 is going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks with a knee injury. So we'll see what 𝗵𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐻𝐵𝐻𝐿𝐴 can do maybe in the meantime. This match in the past has had lots of goals. Both teams to score yes has happened in 9 of the last 10 games that played against each other. It was 3-2 to Frankfurt earlier this season. We had a lovely high-scoring game there. Both teams to score yes. It's always a good one for this one. 69% of the time it's happened for Frankfurt, and 66% or 68% actually for Stuttgart this season. So both teams to score yes looks pretty good at 150. But this is a match that should have plenty of goals. So as well as both teams to score total goals, it looks better value. So total goals over 2.5 has happened more than 2/3 of the time for both teams, 69 for Frankfurt and 71% for Stuttgart. So total goals over 3 is what I'm going for in this one at 186. I hope it lives up to the billing as the Saturday evening game in the Bundesliga. And like 𝗀𝗵𝐴 says, this matchup screams goals. So we'll go for that, please.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Both teams to score over 2.5 goals for 𝗀𝗵𝗵. And for Sunday, we have two games. Freiburg Union Berlin is the first one, with Freiburg sixth and fighting for the European spots. Last three games were draws for them, but usually low-scoring game. Union Berlin drew with Bayern and beat Frankfurt in two big surprises, but it's also a low-scoring team. So if the other game screamed goals, this one is kind of the opposite, Ronan?
Yeah, it surely is. And like I said earlier, 𝗻𝗏𝗏𝗀 had gone 10 hours without conceding goals before he conceded to Mainz in the last match day. So he'll be hoping to more clean sheets for Freiburg. So yeah, they had 3 draws in a row after 4 wins in a row. So they're on a long kind of unbeaten streak at the moment. And Union Berlin, they drew against Bayern Munich and they beat Frankfurt. So they've had some pretty good results themselves at the moment. But in this match, the most common result is 0-0, and it's not really a surprise. So last year's game as well in Freiburg, they were in this exact match, was 0-0 too. So correct score 0-0 is 11 in this one, if you think this is going to be a snooze fest on Sunday. So maybe stay in the bed for a while and don't get up until the late afternoon to watch the Borussia Dortmund match later on. Yeah. Union Berlin are averaging 0.9 goals per game, so they're not even scoring 1 goal a game. So it's not really a surprise that I've gone for a 0-0 in this one. And Freiburg, like I said, they had clean sheets in 6 games in a row before that 2-2. So Freiburg clean sheet could be a safer option than going for 0-0 here. So 250. So I had to combine all those together. I'm going to go for, my main tip is just a draw in this one. So maybe if there is a goal, I won't be too devastated if I just go for the draw, and then it could end up being 1-1 instead of 0-0. So 358 for the draw in this one. Or 360 even better.
Well, 𝗀𝗵𝗀 feels that Union Berlin can score a goal. Indeed, they are surprising not only you, 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏, but everyone with the 2 latest results, a team that was struggling to stay in the Bundesliga. And the last one is Dortmund Mainz. And here we have great odds to back the away team. They are really the underdog, 4.8. They are third and fighting for the Champions League spots. They drew with Freiburg, but they were coming from 4 consecutive wins. And Dortmund, they are so far from Europe. I think we know now that they are not going to play in Europe next season unless they win the Champions League. The numbers for Kovacs are really bad in the Bundesliga. And, well, they have Barcelona in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't really fancy their chances against Barcelona, to be honest. Unless, of course, I become a Barcelona supporter between now and then, and Barcelona decide to go bankrupt. Yeah, I think that could be 𝐿𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐻𝐻's best chance.
They are almost there, eh? They were almost there.
Yeah, they just need to pull a few more levers and then they'll be all right. That just seems to be everything they do at the moment. If you had said this was 3rd versus 11th, you would have thought Borussia Dortmund are clearly 3rd and Mainz 11th, but no, it's the other way around. This Mainz team have been performing excellently, but they had a bit of disappointment during the international break when they had their own record. The first time 2 Mainz players had started a game for Germany, Nadim Amiri and Jan Burkhardt, in the first leg against Italy. And Burkhardt got taken off at half-time. Amiri after 66 minutes. Neither started in the second leg. So, yeah, hopefully they can get their Mainz form back rather than their Germany form here. And another big disappointment for me is the fact that Dominic Core won't be playing this game. My favourite to pick up a booking in every game he plays. He got sent off in Mainz's last game. Of course he did. 7th time for him in the Bundesliga. He only needs 1 more red card to equal the Bundesliga record. But he's already broken the disciplinary record this season for the most disciplinary points in one season. He's got 10 yellow cards and 1 red card this season. Suspended for the next 2 games. So when he comes back in 2 weeks' time, remember, place a bet on him to get booked, because that's what he does. That is what Dominic Core does. And on the other hand, Marcel Sabitzer is missing from the Borussia Dortmund midfield. He's out for multiple weeks with a knee injury. The past has not been kind to Dortmund the recent past has not been kind to Dortmund against Mainz. They haven't won in the last 4 games even. And you remember earlier this season it was 3-1, but before that we had a couple of draws in Dortmund, and the most famous of them was probably the 2-2 in May 2023, and that was the draw that cost Borussia Dortmund the Bundesliga title. So this is really their kind of voodoo team. They're kind of jinxed when they're playing Mainz in recent years. Dortmund are on a terrible run of form themselves. They've lost to Augsburg. They lost to to RB Leipzig. They didn't score in either match. Mainz are unbeaten in 6 games. So this one, you think there could be a chance that Mainz could get something from it. The most common result between the two teams is a 1-1. The most common result in Dortmund is 1-1. So I'm going for a Mainz double chance at 2.17.
Well, indeed, great odds to back Mainz somehow. Jake is going for Asian Handicap +1 for Mainz. Mainz and double chance 8.11. Crazy odds. 𝐬𝐵𝐿𝐿𝐿 is going for Dortmund in this case, and also both teams to score. Well, guys, you have the opportunity, of course, to place your bets and your tips in Oddspedia and participate in our tipster competitions. And you can win some cash prizes. As you can see, the first one, 350 euros. So this guy, Andrew, is only 6 days until the end of the month. Is very close to win this money. And also you can create or participate in Rivals, our customized tipster competitions. This is it for this video. Let's try again your safe bet, Ronan.
My safe bet is Leverkusen to win at 129.
ACCA.
My ACCA is Leverkusen to win, Bayern to win. They should be safe enough. Wolfsburg to win, and Frankfurt, Stuttgart, both teams to score for a total of 383.
All right, this is it for the Bundesliga match day 27. Thank you, Ronan. Thanks everyone for watching. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.